In today's sessions, we are going to learn about the government initiatives and policies that are there for small businesses. Uh, in order to start a business, uh, apart from other factors that are required, capital is one of the very strong factor that is needed to establish a business, start a business. And in order to promote the entrepreneurial environment in the country and support the people to start their business, there are certain government initiatives undertaken and the policies for those small businesses to grow. So let us just have a detailed insights about all these initiatives and policies in this session. So the Indian government, it has implemented several initiatives and policies for the growth and sustainability of small businesses. The Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, that is MSME Act, it provides a regulatory framework and benefits because without the legal process, without making an act, things cannot be forwarded or the benefit cannot be forwarded at large at macro level. And therefore, we have a Micro, Small, Medium Enterprise Act, which provides a regulatory framework and benefits such as priority sector lending and credit guarantee scheme. Priority sector here means that those sectors which are more required for any economy or which need boost up and which need support by the government in order to develop and grow and prosper. So they are called the priority sector, and there are some credit guarantee schemes also. So the Stand Up India scheme encourages entrepreneurship among women and marginalized community. There are so many schemes which are brought up. We will be discussing them in this session in detail one by one. So let us have an overview of these schemes. First, let us discuss this Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Act. It is in this act in India, it plays a very important role in promoting the growth and sustainability of small businesses. It was enacted actually to address the specific needs and challenges which were faced by micro, small and medium enterprises. The Act provides a legal framework for their classification and support. That is, what comes under this MSME, what nature, what kind of industries come under them. They give a classification. They also provide support to them. The Act defines the criteria for categorizing businesses based on investment in plant and machinery or equipment maybe, and allows for targeted policies and incentives. Actually, this MSME Act, it offers financial assistance, monetary assistance. It also lends the money, that is credit access, and also subsidies to promote the entrepreneurship. Basically, this act promotes the small entrepreneurs who are financially not strong enough to stand and survive on their own. So it promotes entrepreneurship and innovation also within the sector. How do they do it? They facilitate smoother registration processes, easing the regulatory burden on small businesses. So by recognizing the unique contribution of MSMEs to the Indian economy, actually what happens, how do MSMEs contribute to the Indian economy? It is like the small enterprises, they can be established and run easily by individuals or in small groups with a small amount of capital. And we find that most of the people, most of the entrepreneurs who go for business, they start with a smaller one. So they contribute a lot in the economic development of any economy, and therefore this act was designed to encourage and motivate these establishments, these small establishments. So these these MSME, they contribute by addressing the specific concern. This act also encourages their development, job creations, and overall economic impact. So the main objective of this is to promote and regulate the MSME sector in India. Actually, MSME sector also, by doing small businesses, they also go for employment generation. They are people, they encourage the environment of job creators instead of job seekers. So it helps, this environment has to be encouraged and motivated and supported also. So this act uh, uh, classifies the enterprises based on investment in plant and machinery and equipment, and also provides them benefits. For example, maybe they provide them lending facility, they provide them the loan with very subsidized or low interest rates. They also guarantee the credits to them. So they facilitate easier access also. There are less complicated procedures, little paperwork to be done. All these things are they come under the umbrella of your MSME Act. So here there are some schemes which are noted here in front of you. That is Stand Up India, Pradhan Mantri Yojana, financial incentives, subsidies and tax benefits, credit guarantee, fund trust and micro and small enterprises, interest subvention scheme, goods and service tax benefits, Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDBI, National Small Industry Corporation, NSIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, that is KVIC. These are, and there are many more also, but these are the important ones which are there to be discussed. So let us go into detail about each one. First, we start with Stand Up India. Stand Up India is a very ambitious initiative launched by the government of India in order to promote entrepreneurship among the women category, women, uh, SCs and scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. It was launched in April 2016, and the program aimed to facilitate financial inclusion and empower the weaker sector, uh, empower the individuals from the marginalized communities, especially by providing them with easy access to loan and also entrepreneurial opportunities. So under this scheme, the under this Stand Up scheme, bank loans ranging from rupees 10 lakhs to rupees 1 crore are made available to at least one woman entrepreneur and one entrepreneur from the scheduled SC and ST category per bank branch for setting up a greenfield enterprises in manufacturing or services or any trading sector. Now, what is greenfield enterprises? Greenfield enterprises are those businesses which are eco-friendly or which do not add negatively to the environmental sustainability. Uh, they are they are more eco-friendly in the sense that they regenerate the resources, or maybe some other innovative way they are contributing positively to the environmental sustainable environment. So it encourages not only with the money, but also with inclusive, they seek to create actually an inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem. They encourage economic empowerment and job creation within the historically disadvantaged communities. So it actually this Stand Up India, it goes hand in hand with the broader vision of fostering innovation, economic growth, and social equality. The it also it is this scheme helps to strengthen the communities which have been deprived in the past, to make them strong, and to help them in standing up. Here, the objective is that it encourages entrepreneurship among women. Basically, means the more focus is on women entrepreneurs and the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities. And its key features are that it facilitates bank loans between 10 lakh to 1 crores for greenfield enterprises, and also aims to create jobs and promote the economic empowerment. So this people, women, and the people from the SC/ST categories communities can always take benefit of Stand Up India scheme. Next is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. It is a flagship initiative launched by the government of India in order to provide financial support to micro enterprises and promote entrepreneurship. Launched in April 2015. This scheme, it aims to facilitate the unfettered flow of credit to small businesses, from small businesses that is running on a very small scale, including the non-corporate, non-farm, micro and small enterprises. Non-farm means not in the primary sector, maybe in a small scales in the secondary or tertiary sector. Under this Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, financial institutions such as banks and microfinance institutions, they extend loans to individuals who are seeking to start or expand their small businesses. So the scheme, basically they categorize the loan into three groups or three parts. First is Shishu, that is up to rupees 50,000. That is who are at a very very small scale, and they are at a crawling stage or budding stage. Loan up to 50,000 is given to them, provided to them. Then next category is Kishore. Kishore ranges from 50,000 to rupees 5 lakh. That is who are at a growing stage, maybe from crawling to standing stage. And Tarun, it is between the provision between rupees 5 lakh to rupees 10 lakh. This caters to the diverse financial requirement of these small entrepreneurs. So this PMMY has played a pivotal, very important role in progressing or developing the financial inclusion. Especially, they empower the aspiring entrepreneurs. That is, aspiring entrepreneurs means those who have lots of talent, they have lots of product development capability, but they do not have financial background or financial base to get started. This scheme comes to your help. So it has played very important role in empowering those kinds of entrepreneurs who want to start up their business, and it also boosts economic activity at the grassroots level, contributing to the overall growth and development of small scale businesses in India. The basic objective is here of this is to provide the financial support, obviously, and is the main focus is on first timers. That is, those entrepreneurs who want to start their business, they want to start their business for the first time. Okay, so this scheme encourages them and boosts them up to go for it. And it aims to enable the self-employment, obviously, leading to entrepreneurship and sustenance in the economy. Uh, so this scheme can be taken up by people who are who are going to start their business, new businesses. Next is financial incentive, subsidies, and tax benefits. And they are actually tools, some of the very important and strong tools which has been employed by the government and organizations in order to stimulate the economic activity, encourage people to do something in order to earn for themselves. They try to encourage some specific behaviors, and specific behavior here means that starting up the business, initiating a new business, and support the targeted industries which are categorized by them. So, financial incentives typically it involves providing monetary rewards or bonuses to individuals or businesses for some specific actions or achievements, such as job creation, research and development, or investment in certain sectors. And subsidies are direct financial assistance from the government to businesses, usually to offset the costs, promote growth, or maintain the affordability for consumers. Actually, subsidies, we can understand it this way. For example, that you whatever product you want to produce or manufacture, the cost of that product is quite high. Suppose it is coming rupees 1000. Now you price it because it is because of the cost of production. It is 1000, but nobody in the market or the consumers in the market are not willing to pay rupees 1000 for that product, or they cannot afford it. But that product is quite important for the consumers, maybe social point of view, maybe any other point of view, and it must be sold out in the market. And in order to support you, what the government gives is they give you a subsidy. Maybe they ask you that, okay, you sell this product for rupees 500 in the market and let the consumers buy it, so that it comes within their buying capacity, and the remaining 500 which you do not get from the consumers, the government is going to pay you. So sell it in a subsidized way into the market, but you won't be bearing the losses. The government is paying you for this gap or the difference in the amount. So this way, providing subsidy encourages the producers or the businessmen to keep continuing into that domain, into that product, whereas it is also available for the consumers. So this is the concept of subsidy. Then next is the tax benefits, which on the other hand, it is the tax reduction or tax liabilities, or in tax liabilities or tax exemptions which are designed, tax liabilities or exemptions which are designed to encourage any particular activities or investment or maybe industry. For example, maybe these activities, these businesses are needed for maybe economic development, or maybe to attract investment, or maybe enhance the competitiveness. For example, if we have some special economic zone region declared by the government, now the government wants that that area, as says special economic zone has been now declared, that must be developing industrially. So these particular nature of industry should be established there. So now the government says whoever starts a business in that economic zone, we are going to give you maybe 10 years tax holidays, or maybe we will give you some other tax exemptions and benefits. This and by getting a tax holiday or tax exemption, more people are attracted to establish their units or their industries in those areas. Especially is example, similar example can be the hilly regions, uh, the regions or the areas which are neglected by industry, because it is difficult for them to establish a unit there or business in those regions. But government wants, because wherever you establish a business, you are promoting economic growth in those regions. So the government will attract you by providing or offering you the tax holidays. Then maybe then you go and invest in those areas. So, tax exemptions are usually to enhance the economic growth and attract more and more investment on those regions, and also enhance the competitiveness while addressing social or environmental objectives. So, the government use these mechanisms strategically to influence the economic behavior, promote the sustainability, and also promote innovation within those jurisdiction. So here we have these some of these methodologies in order to which the government takes provides in order to promote the business environment. And here we have, in addition to this, we have also credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprises. That is CGTMSE. The credit guarantee. Next, we have the interest subvention scheme. Interest subvention scheme, it is a financial initiative implemented by the government of India to support a specific sector or groups by subsidizing the interest rate on loans for those investors, for those businessmen. Under this scheme, a portfolio of the interest cost is incurred the portion of the interest cost incurred by borrowers, it is subsidized by the government, effectively reducing the overall cost of borrowing. So the objective is to make credit more affordable, stimulate the economic activities in those sectors, and encourage investment in the targeted sectors such as maybe agriculture, small and medium enterprises, or export oriented industries. The interest subvention scheme aims to promote financial inclusion and alleviate the burden of high interest rates on borrowers, fostering economic growth and development. So, the scheme typically involves collaboration between the financial institutions and the government agencies with eligible borrowers who try to benefit from the reduced interest payments. So ultimately, it enhances their access to credit and supporting their economic endeavors. So the main objective of this scheme is to reduce the cost of credit for MSMEs, and the key features are that it offers interest rate subsidies on loans to eligible MSMEs, also aims to enhance the competitiveness and ease the financial burdens on the investors or the businessmen. The basic idea is to motivate these people to go into that domain, into those sectors, and start their business to have further economic development in the country. Next is goods and services tax benefit. The goods and service tax, that is, we also call it GST. GST system, it offers several benefits for small businesses, which providing a more streamlined and transparent taxation framework. It has been recently adopted just few years back, and one of the key advantage is that it has simplified the tax structure. It has replaced a very complex web of indirect taxes, maybe multiple taxes over there. So it has unified the tax system with a more simplified version. This GST reduces the compliance burden for small businesses, making it more easier for them to understand and also to follow those tax regulation. See, GST facilitates a more efficient supply chain, as it allows for this very effortless flow of input tax credit, preventing tax cascading and reducing the overall tax burden on goods and services. So, in a way, the tax liability has been not only simplified, they have been reduced also. Additionally, moreover, we can say that the threshold exemption limit also ensures that small businesses with their turnover below a specific amount are exempted from GST, offering relief of micro enterprises. Offering a relief to micro enterprises. So another thing is that the digital nature of GST filing and compliances, it promotes more transparency. Uh, it also reduces the scope for tax evasion, and in a way, it contributes to the formalization of the economy, or there is less of tax evasion or avoid that part. So, all contributing more to the government treasury for better development of the economy. So, overall GST, it benefits the small businesses by simplifying the tax structure, improving the ease of doing business, and also promoting a more conducive environment of growth and compliances. So it's not easy to dodge the taxes so easily now. So the main objective was to implement this GST. The main objective was to simplify and unify the indirect tax structure, do away with the multiple taxes that were prevailing in the system. And the key features of this is that it provides a very unified tax structure, reducing the compliance burden on small businesses. So, various GST slabs and exemptions there are, GST slabs and exemptions do benefit the small enterprises and help them in generating their business on a better scales. So, we discussed this much, and we have more exhaustive list, as I've already briefed you about the list, which we'll be continuing in the next session. Thank you.